Here is the Compaq Presario 1237 laptop computer. It was manufactured around 1997 or 98, right around the same time that the Compaq Presario 1230 laptop was released, which I've made a video to prior to this, probably my previous video actually. There are very, very few differences between the two. In fact, they're almost identical. The number 7, not really sure what it denotes, but the difference between the two models is the processor, and also I believe the hard drive was bumped up just a little bit in this model. So, even though I have a video of it already, I'm going to give you a quick tour of what is on this laptop, what it features. So we have a built-in floppy drive. I believe this to be a cooling vent. We have a little flip-out card release, and I don't know, I didn't even know this was in here. Looks like we've got a 128 meg CF card, which I will be setting aside, because that's pretty cool. So there you've got your card slot. Pretty standard ports for the time, Kensington lock, modem. I believe it actually would function. I believe it has a modem in there. PS2 keyboard or mouse, one USB port, VGA, there's a cooling fan on the back, and your standard printer and COM ports. There's the charging port. Along the side we have a removable, but meant to be permanent, CD drive. I'm not sure if there would have been anything else you could put in here other than a CD drive, except for maybe a DVD drive, if you really wanted to shell out the extra money. Has a battery right here, which works a little bit, but is for the most part dead for all intents and purposes. And then we've got our two little ports on the bottom for the speakers. Along the front there are two jacks, a headphone and a microphone jack. We've got our charging and power indicators along with keyboard indicators, two speakers that protrude out the front slightly, and you can see the, I would call them subwoofer portals, I don't know if that's the right term, that are for the speakers. Two latches on the side, open it up, and we see the glory that is this laptop. So, down on the bottom, we've got two very nice speakers. They sound excellent. Actually, I'm not sure on this particular one if they sound excellent because of all the mold that was introduced into the laptop when it was sitting for quite some time. But there you can see, it's in generally good condition, just dirty. On this example of this laptop, this button, the left click button, is broken. It does work, there's just no click to it. We've got our internet and sound or volume up and down buttons. Keyboard, as before, nothing to mention. It's just a pretty standard keyboard. Again, very nice to type on. They just have a good feel to them. Center power button, and there we see the 1237 model number. So, this one does work, however it has some issues, and I will plug this in and show you those issues right now, and maybe readjust the camera. Alright, so there it is. As we can see, it has a little bit of an issue with the screen where there's two vertical lines right there, and there will be another one right around here. Usually when you boot into Windows it's noticeable. But the laptop, surprisingly, at least to me, does work. I was very shocked to find that. So, this model is a bit weird with the system clock, and I'm chalking this up to, again, the issues where it sat in a wet basement for a while. The clock does not seem to tick, and the date does not seem to change when you're sitting in the BIOS. I'm not sure why this is. I'm not sure if the onboard clock or logic on the board is screwed up. I'm not really that into laptops or computers in general to know what would be causing that, but there is something funky with that. As we can see, it's got a 4.1 gigabyte hard drive, which is on its way out. It's about to fail pretty soon. I can hear that from the clicking. And it has 64 megs of onboard RAM, expandable to 96. Nothing really to mention inside of here at all. Really nothing to mention, so I guess I'm going to exit the setup and load up Windows. Yes, there we go. So this is going to take quite a while because, as I said, the hard drive is failing. However, it does work. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes to start up, and then we will be back. And here we are at the Windows 98 desktop. So as you can see, the color depth is a little bit weird on this. It's, I believe, meant to run at 16-bit colors, but this looks like it's trying to run at something else. That's why the fonts are all screwed up. So I'll take a quick look at that one. No, running at 16-bit, so let's bump it down to 256. That doesn't look any better at all. And I can't adjust the resolution, so we're going to have to deal with the resolution issue. So here is the Windows 98 desktop. As I said before, all the icons are massive on this thing. I'm not sure if the person using this was hard of seeing, I guess would be the term. Anyway, as I said before, this has the original installation of Windows 98, as you can see by the Compaq logo. It's running Windows 98 SE, and it's got an AMD K6 266 MHz processor. The processor, and as I mentioned before, the hard drive size, were the only differences between the 1237 and the 1230. Again, I don't know if the processor in this would have been better than the, I believe that was a similarly clocked. So as we can see here, this has the original installation of Windows 98, as you can see from the Compaq logo, Windows 98 SE. It's running an AMD K6 266 MHz processor. This and the 4.1 GB hard drive were, I believe, the only upgrades to this model of laptop that the laptop received from the 1230. The 1230 would have had the Cyrix 233 or 266 MHz processor, and same amount of RAM, standard. It has 64 megs of RAM, by the way. Nothing to mention in the device manager, nothing really special that I could see, and I believe the sound is working on this laptop. Yep, works, and it has quite a nice 3D sound to it, which is something you really don't see on laptops now. It's kind of just the sound comes out of the speakers. I'll play a sound through here and see what it sounds like. I must say, other than the screen with the weird color depth issue and the lines going through the screen, it looks very nice. It's a very crisp display, and it just looks nice in general. Alright, so we have startup Windows, start Windows. See how it sounds. Wow, fancy. I would actually prefer these speakers in anything that I've got. Wow, that's pretty fancy. Again, with the 3D sound effect, that's something you don't really see ever, and it's quite a nice feature. Gives you a much better music experience. And as we can see, we've got a 3.8, or rather 4.1 gigabyte hard drive that is clicking and dying as we speak. I can hear it clicking every time I click on something. Let's go into the briefcase. Nothing to mention there. Recycle bin. Nothing to mention there. So, not much to mention on this laptop. It looks like the previous owner was smart enough to delete all of their personal information, which is always good. It is nice to look at it and see what it was used for, but hey, not really a problem. And as the hard drive clicks and clicks one more time, I guess that will be it for this video. Not much to mention about this particular laptop that I know of. If somebody knows any more about this model and of something that would be of interest, please leave it in the comment section and I will upvote it and talk with you about it. Just get some discussion going. So I'll shut it down, and that will be that. Thank you for watching, and feel free to leave me a comment. Thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed.